If you would have asked anyone when this thing popped off, I would have been one of the few ones that would have said to you, give this some time, and things are going to start to look different. And lo and behold, that's exactly what's happening. So Future and Metro did a GQ cover today. Yeah, so they did a cover today or a cover release for GQ's issue of Men of the Year. And it was Future and Metro. And usually with these publications, they'll drop like some short interview. They'll drop some short interview as part of like the photo shoot or the release. And being that these two were involved in a very big moment in hip hop this year, it was only right that they get asked questions about, what went on and I guess their roles in it. And I'm sure a lot of you probably thought, oh yeah, no, they're just gonna stick to their guns and blah blah blah. They're gonna say what they've been saying. But no, these niggas started backtracking. And listen, anyone could have told you guys and predicted this. It's like, I don't know, maybe Thug has something to do with it. Maybe since he came home, maybe people are starting to see like, yo, we need the unity. We need that unity back now instead of us being like all separate. But these two started backpedaling like a D1 corner. So I'll go through some of the stuff. I guess Elliot Wilson broke this, or maybe somebody else, but Elliot had the excerpts from the actual interview. And I'll go through them real quick. So this is one of the things that Metro said. I guess the interviewer asked him if he's rejecting the idea that this was a detailed attack. And before I say that, something had came out a few weeks ago about Future basically saying he didn't even know Kendrick was on the song. Which I'm not gonna lie to you, makes me think that when Travis was doing what he was doing on the stage, he probably didn't know Kendrick was on the song either. I feel like Kendrick was a last minute addition, but whatever. Yeah, so basically Metro's rejecting the idea that this was like a attack plan, a detailed attack plan. Even though some rap fans still see him as some kind of diabolical chess master. Metro said people really think we sat for 2 years making 2 albums to be like, yo, fuck this dude. What kind of shit is that? You really think we're going to spend that much time, effort, resources on just trying to get at somebody on an album? You guys did. So you guys did drop 2 back-to-back albums about this nigga. Or dissing this nigga. Blowing budgets on 2 albums, going over budget. That's some serious hate. This sounds stupid to say, Metro, because this is what you're saying is exactly what you guys did. Like, you dropped 2 back-to-back albums, basically sending shots at this nigga. You got Kendrick on the first one, and you got other people on the second one. So the backpedaling is crazy. Let's look at the next quote. So this is regarding like his issue with Drake. His issue with Drake. Me and Drake, we had a personal issue, and for the record, not over no girl or nothing silly like that. It was a personal issue that really hurt me and disappointed me. I mean, what else can people really believe if you're not one to really, if you're not gonna, I mean, yes, at the end of the day, it's your business, but when certain things come out like this in the public eye, like, you got to speak on it, because everyone's just gonna assume it's about a girl. And if all the signs are pointing to it being about a girl, then it's like, what else do we have to believe? And now you're saying that it's not. It's still, it looks a bit fishy, because it's like, all right, you're saying it was a personal issue. What would the personal issue have been between you two? And I'm sure there probably was a personal issue, but I mean, you're not giving people much to go off of. He continues on and says, rap entertainment out of it. It's like, have you ever been real cool with somebody and y'all fell out over something? It happens every day. It's just regular shit. This just happens to have an audience. Again, you're being very vague on what the issue was. So you're going to leave people to think about, or speculate what the issue is. And a lot of people thought it was over a girl, and all the signs again were pointing to it being a girl. So, you can't really be mad at the public for thinking that's what it was. And you didn't really speak on it throughout the whole beef. This is the first time he's actually spoken on it. So you can't be mad at the public for thinking, yeah, no, this whole thing started over a female. And he says here, now I did have my moment online, which I do regret. Metro admits referring to an anti-Drake tweet spree that he went on in response to Drake's diss tracks, which carved out scathing bars for Metro specifically, amid all the other artists Drake was beefing with. I should have been stronger than that. That was out of character for me. But at a certain point, it's like, I don't rap, bro. So you're just gonna shit on me on all these songs. I'm not gonna get in the booth, so I'm finna tweet at you. That I can kind of understand. Like, and that's the line with Drake saying, Metro, shut the fuck up and make some drums. Like, it's like, I guess the tweet thing, like, he really doesn't have a way to realistically express himself. So I can understand that. But still, like, if that's someone that you've had a relationship with, unless it was something to where it's like, you know, it got violent, I don't see why they would go to this extent. Like, I don't see the purpose of going to this extent if you're going to be doing this and backpedaling. And Academics was speaking on this too a little bit. He was tweeting about it. Told y'all word came through that Future claimed he ain't no Kendrick was going to do that dumb shit on like that. Whether you believe him or not, or you think he playing stupid, it's up to you. I don't believe it because truthfully, tracks have to get cleared, and this is your album that you're releasing. Tracks have to get cleared, and this is your album that you're releasing, so there's no way that you couldn't have heard, hey, like, we added Kendrick on this song at the end of the or right before we turned the album in. So there's no way that you couldn't have heard that verse and applied it to what it was referring to. So I'm be real with you, I don't believe Future when he says that, especially with how things are released nowadays. Now, if this was a album where if this was an album, like, if they're in a deal where it's like, I don't know, they don't have full creative control over the album or maybe how it's released, then I can understand that. But Future's a big artist. I don't see that happening with him. And Metro too, like, this is him and Future's album. So it's like, I don't think this was a label thing. I think this was an album that they wanted to do and they had a topic behind it, and so they pursued it. So when people are saying like, yeah, Future didn't know, it's like, all right, that's very hard to believe. Future even said on this interview, he's like, these, you know, standing his ground. He's basically saying there was a beef. I didn't even know there was a beef. I didn't know they had nothing going on. I ain't never participated in any rap battles. Like, come on, bro. You mean to tell me for the last 6-7 months, you basically have had no contact with the outside world? None of your homies have told you what's going on. Like, nobody around you has said, hey, Drake, somebody you've been close with for years, is beefing with Kendrick Lamar. Like, come on, Future. Like, it sounds crazy to say this. Like, I'd rather you have just said, yeah, we did this and blah blah blah. I feel a different way about it now, so, you know, let's move on from it. But for him to be like, yeah, no, it's, you know, he didn't know about it. Like, come on, that doesn't make any sense. And he went on to say, so basically, and it looks like Future's kind of taking shots at Kendrick too, if I'm being honest. He said Big 3 on my song. I'm supposed to be the one that gets mad. I'm still confused about that. That's what was so fucked up about the shit, to the point where I'm like, I'm so clear that I ain't even said anything to the public about how I feel about it. Like, why is everybody mad when he was talking about me on my song? He wasn't talking about you. Like, I don't know. I don't know if Future's in that Wayne, you know, like, I know Wayne used to say, like, he doesn't listen to anybody but himself. Like, he doesn't even have internet. You know, he doesn't know anything about the outside world. I don't know if Future's in that same cocoon, but him saying stuff like this makes it seem so. So y'all just forgot about me. I ain't part of this Big 3. I'm nobody on my own song. If I didn't get mad, nobody should have gotten mad. If I would have been really mad about it, and I made something out of it. So yeah, like, I feel like there's two different Big 3s. I feel like there's a Big 3 in terms of, like, you know, overall popularity, and then there's a Big 3 in terms of lyricism. Kendrick, Cole, and Drake are on that lyricism Big 3. Future, for certain people, he might be on that overall Big 3 because he's been consistent for the last 15 years in terms of, like, putting out music. So I feel like he is on that Big 3. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I can understand his sentiment when he's talking about this, but, like, say something before. Like, you guys dropped the whole second album after this, you know? So why didn't you respond to Kendrick on the second album? And then you dropped another album after. Why didn't you respond to it on that album? I don't know if he did, but I heard the album and I didn't hear anything. So for you to say this now during this interview, it's like, all right, it's a little too late. And you guys look like, you know, for lack of a better word, you guys look like some pussies. Like, you got what you got out of the beef. You got your albums to sell and this and that and your little in the moment fame. But now it's like, you see shit is dying down, and now you're going to pull some shit like this and be like, we never really wanted to be involved. So, I don't know. This is some crazy backpedaling. And again, like I said, if you would have asked anybody, like, I knew this was going to happen. A lot of people probably knew this was going to happen. Drake's hold on the game clearly is still there. A lot of people are saying, oh yeah, no, Drake's done. Drake's completely fallen off. Clearly not. Because these guys are still, you know, choosing the backpedal when they could have stood on their own shit. And this is something I said too. You rappers that went into, even I heard Rick Ross was backpedaling too. He's like, oh, it's not that serious. But you rappers that supported Kendrick, everybody that supported Kendrick, he does not fuck with y'all. Like, you guys have to understand this. This nigga does not fuck with y'all. He has this little team of 5 people. Baby Keem, his cousin, and his, I guess Doechii is his new artist, and his TDE guys. And that's it. The rest of you niggas, he don't fuck with y'all. And I think these guys are realizing that, because after the Like That song, or is it Like That? Yeah. After the Like That song, you didn't hear shit about them really even interacting with Kendrick anymore. So it's like, you guys came together for some fake shit, and now you're realizing you came together for some fake shit, and now you're trying to backtrack. Like, come on. It was never that serious to begin with. Like, you guys had an issue, you could have talked about it and prevented, you know, this whole thing from happening. So I don't know, the backpedaling looks weak to me. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. I already knew this shit was gonna happen, but I'm glad to see it happen, because now people are starting to see, like, yeah, like, this shit was, I don't want to say uncalled for, but this shit was just random as shit. And Kendrick saw the opportunity, and he's like, nigga, I have nothing going on right now. Let me jump on this and see if I could do something with it. So yeah, but that's what I think. So let me know what you guys think.